I always try to share with people that when you own your own business, in my view, you don't go into business to make money, you go into business to make memories. Because you have the ability, you don't have to take the corporate rule book across the street, right? In other words, you don't have to measure success by profit, and you can measure it by smiles. If your family's smiling, your customers are smiling, and you're smiling, you're a success. I don't care how much money you have in the bank. There isn't a magical formula, but it all happens right up here. People say, time management class. You can't manage time. Time is time. It's really priority management. You have to really sit back and see your life as a story, and ask yourself, what do I want my story to have been? Write the ending chapter now. What do I want to look back on my life? And if you do that, then you can prioritize your life better, and you can understand that I need to put time right here into this relationship, into my son or my daughter, into my church over here. In the end, what will you want it to have looked like? The fact that I got invited in by Les, as everyone ultimately does, I think, and just found myself in a room with a bunch of guys, didn't know any of them, but within a short period of time I realized that this was right where I needed to be. And I think what it did for me personally was it gave me a focal point. Because before, like a lot of us, I was kind of all over the place, and I hadn't really set aside any specific time or any specific need to be prepared. And Les, when Les asked me to be a co-leader, that changed the game, because now I realized that I had a responsibility greater than myself. I think for me, I think life's more peaceful. I think I'm more content, and there's an acceptance there of that life isn't always perfect, but it's just that kind of that warm place that I think we all ultimately want to get to, but we're all so busy and distracted and overwhelmed and overworked and overscheduled, and I think Journeys helped me, Influencers has helped me get into that nice sweet spot of life. I think it happens over time, at least it does for me. You and I have both seen people that, it's like instant bam, and I think for me, I'm always a person who ponders. Obviously all peace comes from, Jesus, and so, and being in His Word and focusing in that direction, getting vertical, as we say, and that is all, a part of it, and of course, a lot of it has been as well the fact that I'm around a lot of other believers, a lot of other people who also want to have full lives and who want to, get their house in order. I think Jesus has saved me from my worst fear, and that is having a meaningless life, and perhaps equally close to that is having not been loved. I think in our core, we're taught not to be very vulnerable, especially as men, but I think in our core, all of us are looking to be loved. And that, of course, is Jesus, as we know, is love. But second to that is just the fact that it gives meaning and purpose to our lives. Purpose drives everything. When I look at people who crash and burn, we all see them, right? Oftentimes they have fame and fortune, those things that we think should equate to happiness, right? And then the train goes off the rails, and we wonder why that is. And I almost invariably can draw it back to a lack of meaning, a lack of purpose, a lack of reason to have your eyeballs snap open in the morning and bounce out of bed. That's what Jesus provides for me.